This is Wivio, my newest hardcore Ironman. He's not exactly new. Let me explain by telling you a story. A long time ago, I had a beautiful hardcore Ironman. Such a well-rounded account, perfect in every way, ready to enter the late game and begin bossing. Unfortunately, this man died to a bug in the game. Now, when this absolute hunk of a hardcore died, I wanted nothing more than to just slam my keyboard on my desk, walk away, uninstall the game, never come back. But this isn't my first rodeo. In fact, it's my fourth. In learning from the past, I realized that I cannot resist the sweet song of that bright red helmet calling me back to this game. So I made a rule. Whenever my hardcore dies, I am not allowed to rage quit the game until I have made a fresh hardcore and given him the golden standard of melee XP gain, along with some other stats and goodies that are really useful for the early to mid game. This was so that when, not if, but when I returned to RuneScape and wanted to play on another hardcore, I would already have an account that's ready to play on. No killing chickens, no cook's assistant, no winter Todd, all of the early game was already taken care of. I would already have things like my fire cape, dragon skimmy, barrow's gloves, unlocks like fairy rings, high alching, and probably 1,000 other things that I'm forgetting. And that is exactly what I did with Wivio before taking my break. Now fast forward about a year into the future and I'm back ready to play. So now join me on this journey to watch Wivio become one of the greatest hardcore Ironmen to ever exist, or die trying. Enjoy. Okay, I know I just did that super long intro about being ready to play right now and coming back to the game and everything, but I'm actually not ready to start playing again. I need to spend the first few days of this bond just AFK training some more crabs and getting my melee skills up while I do some other things. I do want to spend a little bit of time today playing just to get done some daily activities, such as I want to do a farm run. I need to go do the hand in the sand quest, so that way I can collect my sand from Bert. That's for future crafting XP. And I want to do the Tears of Guthix minigames, that way it goes on cooldown. However, with Tears of Guthix, it goes into your lowest skill, and I want to keep Herblore my lowest skill specifically for Tears of Guthix XP lamps. And currently, smithing is my lowest, so I'm going to have to do something about that. Alright, do I have any gold? Any gold in here? I do have gold quite a bit. And the goldsmithing gauntlets, nice. Okay, so I'll finish the farm run first, and then I'll head over to Blast Furnace to use up this gold and get some smithing XP. And that is 64 farming on the first run back. Means we're only one level away from the mid-tier section of the farming guild XP. Oh, there's 65 farming. We now have access to the mid-tier section of the farming guild. Okay, so just know that I'm not going to be showing you hardly any farming for obvious reasons. Farming's pretty dull and boring and repetitive. You've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. Hey, I've already got a cactus planted. Nice. But since I'm not going to be showing it, just know in the background that I'm constantly doing Hespori and farm runs. You'll probably see the farming levels as I go. I'm doing like everything farm runs, everything that I can at least, including watermelons. I'm growing watermelons at every allotment patch that I can by doing temple trekking to get the seeds. This is because I'm trying to rush to 85 farming as fast as possible to enter the high tier section of the guild and get those high tier contracts. And then I'll kind of mellow out on the watermelons. Okay, it's time to get a couple of smithing levels. I don't exactly remember how Blast Furnace works. I think I have to pay twice. And then other than that, I just need the goldsmithing gauntlets and the ice gloves. Okay, there's 43 smithing. I am about to get a ton of XP from this. 44 smithing. 45. Smithing is officially a higher level than Herblore now, but I'm going to finish this out anyway. 46 smithing. 47. And 48. I believe that's our last level. But 48 is good enough. Time for some Tears of Guthix. And we get 8,500. Holy cow. And there's 45 Herblore. Don't mind if I do. And the last thing I want to do before I AFK is hand in the sand. Except I don't have a whiteberry. Yep, there it is. Yeah, if you didn't know, there's a whiteberry spawn here, apparently. Close to late, yeah. Hand in the sand completed. I don't think I gain a level from that. But now I could talk to Mr. Burt and have him deliver some sand to my bank. And I could even get the sand out of his sand pit. Okay, it is time to hunker down and try to move as little as possible. I'm aiming for about 80 attack and 80 defense. I think that's the goal for now, at least. And I'll try to do almost nothing else except for the occasional farm run. 60 hunter from birdhouses. And there is level 80 attack, so it is finally time to swap over to defense and get defense at least up to level 80, and then I'll probably just decide from there. There is 67 defense, which gives us almost level 100 combat. I thought I was going to get level 100 combat from there. I'll probably forget to record it tomorrow, but I'm going to get at least 100 combat easily from being here, and I can finally use Duradel whenever I go back to Slayer. There is 80 defense. I did actually decide that I want to go for 85 attack, so I am going to stay here for quite a bit longer. I am actually happy with where it's at. I would totally be playing on it right now, but I'm kind of busy at the moment, so I might as well just hit 85 attack in the meantime. Finally, 85 attack. It's over. I can actually play on the account. The melee stats are looking good. Okay, while I was over there fighting that stuff, I realized that I had these trees ready to check their health, and I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead and do a farm run. Boom, there's 66 farming. I have these 2 XP lamps. 46 herblore. Okay, a combat achievement. Nice. Never actually done this before, but I think you can put these fossils in here, the rare ones, and get prayer XP for it or something like that. Oh, I should have watched a guide. I'm like missing some materials or something. Oh, what am I doing? You would think at all this time that I've been AFKing, I'd be kind of like looking into what I want to do once I actually get my melee stats, but I'm kind of lost, so I'm just going to head over and finish my Slayer task, and maybe something will come to me. Slayer has a good tendency to point you in a direction you need to go. 66 Slayer. I know I unlocked Duradel and everything, but I'm going to try my luck at just doing Konar, at least up until 50 tasks. Maybe she won't give me garbage, and then I'll swap over to Duradel. Ooh. Don't mind if I do. Not bad. Doing this worm task reminded me that I don't know if I have bigger and badder. You have broader fletching, so probably, right? Oh, I don't? I got broader fletching first? No way. Yeah, we got to get this like now. Oh, hey. 4534. Remember that number. That was the first cat that I've grown since I've gotten back. I'm usually not a fan of growing cats, but they're just such good death runes that I'm going to try to do it out through just as long as I can, pretty much. And there is 200 death runes, the first 200 of many. Okay, I just ran into the problem of having too much bank slots being taken up, and now is probably the time to mention that whenever I did my 98 fire making, I held on to most of my crates. I did this because you get better rewards for them the higher level you are when you open them, not when you get them. So by holding on to them, I've been getting some better rewards. But every time I run out of bank space, because obviously they're taking up a ton of space, I just come over here and open a handful of them. That frees up a little bit of space. The main thing that I want from these boxes is the Pyromancer row bottoms, so that way I can do an elite clue step later on. I really don't want to do Wintertod beyond 99, and it's looking like that's going to happen if I don't get the pants pretty dang soon. So even though the rewards are nice, to me, it's total garbage unless I get the pants. Total garbage, cool. I'm going to be trying my best not to train Herblore, but I think for the sake of Slayer with melee, some attack potions and strength potions would go a long way, so I'm going to make me a handful of those. Should be enough for now. And now, using the strength potion and the attack potion and the DDS, we can hit a maximum 00. Yep. I cannot believe I used to hate that task. Please, Konar, please, Konar, please, Konar. On the Isle of Souls, where... Oh. No, I don't know where that is. I think I know what it is. I think it's this tiny island. Okay, I just finished my farm run. I was just about to go and continue my Slayer task whenever I realized that I'm actually getting pretty low on watermelon seeds. So instead, I'm going to go head over to temple trekking and do that. All right, now we can start temple trekking. For my temple trekking experience, I'm just going to be using Route 1 the whole time so I can just evade everything. I am going to be evading everything except for these guys. I'm making an exception. I want their nails for later Herblore shenanigans. All right, that was almost exactly 1 hour of watermelon seed hunting. I was also getting the nail beast nails whenever I ran into them. But 373, that's going to last me quite a while. Ooh, a sneaky little 71 range I didn't see coming. Cool. Before I forget and reset it, I want to show the XP that I was getting while I was doing attack and defense. Averaging like 65,000 XP per hour or so. But there's the millions of experience I got. And 200 death runes. 64 mining over at the Falling Stars. I'm not going to be here for very long. I just want to get the ring before I leave. 200 death runes. Another AFK mining level. I just noticed in my bank that I had 3 of these overgrown cats that I got from doing Wintertod. If you have an overgrown cat, you can bank it and still get a new kitten, unlike the regular cat. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these 3 in. Get me a nice level 600 death runes. I'm done mining for now, but I might as well go and grab the celestial rings. That way I don't forget about it later whenever I go to Motherlode Mine or something. Oh, 6,100. There is 68 farming. 200 death runes. Oh man, I just about had a heart attack. I have a bad habit of whenever I use my home teleport to come back to Lumbridge, I'll get up and go get a drink or something, and whenever I get back, I just see my character standing here in Lumbridge, and it scares me to death. And that is the task completed. A very, very nice and quick task, dude. I don't want the 196 coins. All right, let's go grab our 50th task. And depending on what it is, we might be changing up activities here in a second. Something good, please. Just something easy to get my points. That's all I ask. After this, I'm going to Durdell, so anything easy. Hellhounds, yeah, that's not bad. I can range safe spot them too, so it'll be nice and relaxed. It's coming to my attention that while I was thinking about all the dailies and common activities that you do as an Ironman, I somehow completely forgot about throwing a Miscellania, so that has become the top priority for the rest of this episode, pretty much. I have to go and do both the quests. I've done neither one of them, and then I need a ton of GP. Managing the Kingdom of Miscellania is a wonderful tool for Ironmen. It's basically a way to spend GP in order to get different resources, most notably being herbs to train herblore. Herblore is such a hard skill to train on an Ironman, and it's incredibly valuable. The way the kingdom works is that once you finish both of the quests, you'll be given workers that you can assign to different stations. I'm going to be maxing out the herb station and then sending the leftovers over to seeds. Once they've been assigned, one time per day, they'll take out 10% of the current balance of this coffer up to a maximum of 75,000 if the balance is 750,000 or more. So in order to get the maximum amount of rewards, I'll essentially have to put a 750,000 GP down payment, then continue to add 75,000 GP per day that I want the full rewards. So as it stands right now, I'm going to need to make roughly 1,000,000 GP just to get it started. I'm also getting a little low on my bolts here, my broad bolts, so I'm going to go and buy some more of those and fletch them real quick. A little bit of fletching XP never hurt, especially since we're going to be trying to go for U longbows to alch for money. That's going to be a great money maker since we're in iron. I'm going to try to knock both of these quests out in the same inventory. I brought the supplies for both of them. There is Throne of Miscellania. And that should be Royal Trouble completed, yep. But now I have to go make a ton of money because I'm flat out broke. So the original plan and the next three were all a waste of my time, so I'm just going to summarize them here real quick. So I need a lot of GP, and I decided to do that through thieving so that I can be training while I'm also getting my money. At one point, I also considered doing agility with alching, but I have nowhere near enough nature runes nor stuff to alch to get anywhere near the amount of money I need. I'm currently 53 thieving. I chose to do Master Farmers all the way up to 55, so that way I could get some seeds, and then at 55, I can move over to Arty Knights. I ended up doing the Farmers up to 54, but I barely got any useful seeds, and then I realized that at 55, Arty Knights kind of suck since you just unlock them. I don't even have the medium Arty diary done. So in the end, I just decided to go to blackjacking and get the GP from there, but not before opening another 10 crates without getting any pants. 200 death runes. What do you think you're doing? I'm a little bit confused with what's going on here. 55 thieving. That was way, way faster. It's 56. Hey, 57. 58 thieving. I was getting about 93,000 XP over at blackjacking, but dude, that is such a torture training method. I can't stand it for longer than like an hour and a half. So I just remember there's a Varlamore thieving method. I know so little about Varlamore because it's kind of like after my time, but I've never tried this before, so I got to try this out real quick. There he goes. So I should just be able to click on him one time. Yeah, and it'll stay going. So one click and it'll just auto thieve over and over. Okay, it does not seem to be worth it to try to pickpocket these guys unless they're distracted, so I think I'm just going to wait for the urchin to do their thing. We're getting 67,000 per hour! I'm doing nothing! I'm clicking literally once every, like, 70 seconds. 59 thieving. A sneaky little 60 thieving that just interrupted my guide watching that I'm doing while I'm sitting here training thieving. I'm watching guides on other Varlamore methods to try to learn more about this place and see if there's anything else that even comes close to how nice this is. That is exactly 1 hour of doing the urchin side of the thieving method. I came out of it with 66 keys, 100,000 GP, so 100,000 per hour, and 60,000 XP per hour. I actually got 59,000, but I was kind of slacking off a little bit. Now it's time to go and open some of the houses. See if that changes. I'm not really sure which houses it is or like how you know. You know what? I'm just gonna follow these very shady looking individuals and then just break in and start looting. Yep, I'm just gonna follow these guys around. Ooh. 61 thieving, kind of snuck up on me there. 62 thieving. 200 death runes. Uh-oh. 63 thieving, now get me out of here. That guy's gonna get caught. Yeah, he just got caught. Huh. That is exactly 1 hour of doing the houses side of thing. Pretty close at least. I was getting 80,000 XP per hour. Just over 81,000 XP per hour. That was so relaxing. Also, I started off with 66 keys. I'm at 47. Quick math. 19 keys. Okay, well, that's actually the number I heard. So that's almost exactly right. 19 keys per hour. So I have at least 2 more hours left of doing that. That's crazy. All right, let's go and see how much money we made from 1 hour of doing this. Just use this on you and skip the whole talking. Oh, there we go. Almost exactly 100,000. Okay. First of all, that's like 10 hours to get my 1,000,000 GP I'm after, but that's fine. So be it. Also should add real quick that I got about 2,000 prayer XP while doing that hour of the thieving training due to the blessed statuettes. That aside, this is still the best thieving method. Before you even consider that, this just as a thieving method, this is the best one. I'll never do blackjacking again, and I'll probably never do Arty Nights again. I need to see the XP rates at higher levels before I decide that. That being said, I am going to stay here for the next 1 million GP or thereabouts. I only need like 900,000 or something like that to get me through the first few days, and then Slayer can kind of fund the rest. So I'm going to be here for a while, several hours. There is 69 farming from composting a patch. It's going to be it. Yep. 64 thieving. There is 65 thieving. I'm going to bed. 66 thieving. 200 death runes. Yep, 70 farming. 67 thieving. 68 thieving over at the street urchin. I ran out of keys, so I'm back over here for at least another hour. Come on. 69 thieving. 200 death runes. There's 70 thieving over at the Arty Nights. I'm over here just trying to get one last check on the XP per hours for the other thieving methods before I'm completely sure that I never want to do them ever again. There's an accidental hard task while trying to check the XP per hour on Minifights. 71 thieving. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to call it for Minifight thugs. It's just miserable being over here. 950k is at least enough to get me started, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. I mean, 170,000 XP per hour is extremely nice, but I'm a strong believer in 80,000 XP per hour that I do get is more than 170,000 XP per hour that I do not get. Well, because I'm falling asleep at that boring, stupid, dumb method. All right, 900,000 coins. Yes, finally, the kingdom is working to give me some XP. I've got 2 full days in there of just gaining herbs and seeds. Feels good. I mean, that's a pretty important part of being an Ironman. Finally, I can go back and do some other stuff. So I think after doing Varlamore, I'm tempted to just do all the Varlamore quests. Where better to do some nice, relaxing research than at the best thieving method in the game? I decided, for really no particular reason other than I've never done them before, to go out and do the quest of Varlamore. 2 of them seem really scary. I don't think I'm going to do those 2 at the moment, but there is a Minotaur boss fight that doesn't look extremely hard, so I think I'll do that one, of course, having a main or a previous dead hardcore go in front of Wivio, so that way I can make sure it's not extremely dangerous. 72 thieving. 200 death runes. I just need the Pyromancer pants. That's all I want from you. Pyromancer pants. Oh, that is the frog quest done, unlocking a new hardwood patch, which is a little useless because I barely can keep up with the 3 patches that I already have, so I'll try to get use out of it. Yes, it was all worth it in the end. All right, time to go do some other pointless tasks. All right, that's the end of that one. Sheesh, that's some XP right there. Oh, that's going to give me a crafting level for sure. Nice, 54 crafting. This is the costume needle. I don't need thread anymore. That's kind of cool. Okay, I thought this was going to be kind of a cooler final act than it's going to be. On my previous hardcore, I barely took any damage, and I didn't even pray the entire time. So now that I've got a prayer up, I'm going to take like no damage. A pretty fun little fight. Yep, not too dangerous. Another one done. I think that's the last one for now. We have Heart of Darkness and Perilous Moons, and then At First Light. And there is the hard Varrock Diary task. 200 death runes. 71 farming. Oh, it kind of snuck up on me. Oh, I already had a palm tree. And it was an elite task. Cool. So on this farm run, on the very first tree I did, the yew tree over in the guild, I just got 71 farming. And now on the last tree of the run, I just got 72 farming and accidentally did a diary task. I don't know how it happened, but I have 3 more cats in my bank from Wintertodt era whenever I was letting them become overgrown so I could store them in my bank. And I forgot to, or I somehow missed them the last time that I was turning in those cats. Don't know how I did that, but 600 more death runes. I do believe that's where I'll call episode 1. I want to say that I really enjoyed the entire process from filming and playing on Wivio to editing and turning those hours of progression into this condensed form for the video. I hope this was a somewhat enjoyable viewing experience, and I want you to know that I've learned a lot from this episode, and I'll be working on ways to improve all across the board. One thing is for certain, and that's that I will be continuing to make these at least up until the inevitable demise of Wivio. So I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully Wivio can live long enough to give this story the satisfying end that it deserves. Thanks. Thanks.